Welcome back to another 2022 Senate election prediction. Today I'm going to be doing a prediction for the United States Senate in 2022. This is going to be the hardest chamber of government or branch of the legislature for the Republicans to take back. I think they have a much greater chance of taking back the House, although at this point they do have a significant chance of taking back the Senate. And there really have been a lot of new things coming up. Out of the Senate races, where we hear Murkowski will run in Alaska, which could hurt Republicans a bit. Sununu is not running in New Hampshire. Dr. Oz is now running in Pennsylvania. Herschel Walker in Georgia. Blake Masters in Arizona. Mark Brnovich, Doug Ducey, that whole thing there. So really, and Chuck Grassley now deciding to run in Iowa, and a lot of Republican retirements, such as Pat Toomey, Richard Burr, etc., including Rubio's seat in Florida. So a lot of interesting things to come. Before I start the prediction, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have finally reached 250 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for going ahead and subscribing to the YouTube channel. This is a bit of a 250 subscriber special. I can't wait to get to 300, so please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We are now less than 50 subscribers away, so keep on subscribing, and we are well on our way to 300. Anyway, let's get right into safe Democrat states. Safe Democrat states will be, and this is where we are at today. So polling is not good for Democrats. They're not going to have many safe Democrat states. It's not going to, maybe it may not be like this 4 years from now, but my prediction is based off of how everything is today. Washington's a safe Democrat state. Hawaii, as well as Maryland, Connecticut, New York, Vermont, and those will conclude safe Democrat races. I do think that Illinois and Oregon could possibly narrow up. In a state with Illinois, Tammy Duckworth, she is a popular incumbent, although we have seen that state, like we did back in 2010, flip to the Republicans, and Tammy Duckworth flipped that back in 2016. But it can certainly go back the other direction. So I would, I don't think it will, so I'm going to put it in the likely category. I'll tell you that in advance, but I do think you could see that state like narrowing up. In state of Oregon, Patty Murray, a pretty unpopular incumbent Democrat, definitely could narrow up. These other states that possibly all these states will be safe Democrat or safe Republican. At the moment, Republicans are faring very, very well, and I'll also include Iowa with Chuck Grassley. Going to likely Democrat races, this will be the state, if I can do this, of Illinois and Oregon. Those will be the only two safe Democrat races. Colorado, I think, could even narrow up below 5 points, possibly if Cory Gardner even decides to run again. We haven't really heard much out of Colorado. We haven't really seen many polls out of there either, probably because it's not the closest race. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens as those polls continue to come out over the next year, I guess. Likely Republican states, Ohio will go to the Republicans by a likely margin as well. Florida, Rubio will do very, very well in Florida. And North Carolina. North Carolina will also go to Republicans by a likely margin. I see them winning by about 6 to 7 points, similar to how Richard Burr won. And now he is retiring. He is more on the left wing of the Republican Party, which is why he's retiring. There's other reasons, but I don't think that he believes that he can win the primary of an election because he was one of the Republicans to vote against acquittal of Donald Trump in the Senate back in January or February of 2020. Let's head into lean Democrat races. Only lean Democrat race will be the state of Colorado, and that's based off the polls narrowing up across the country. Drastic unpopularity of the Democrats and a lot of issues that they're unpopular on at the moment. And these elections tend to be red wave elections, blue wave elections. There's never really like a toss-up midterm election. So, this is just expected. Leading Republican will be Alaska. There's not really much on. It's going to be interesting to look at Alaska simply because Lisa Murkowski is running. Last time she ran, actually, I believe against a Republican, I know that they do split ticket voting, or not split ticket voting, they do ranked choice voting. So I don't think. I think that she may have lost her primary. That may have been the election before that, but she still managed to win with that. So I think Alaska's going to be interesting. I'm going to put in the lean Republican state, Republican category at the moment, but I do think it's going to be something to watch, and it could very well vary. Another lean state would be the state of Wisconsin. I see Wisconsin going into the lean Republican margins. with Ron Johnson running, polls are looking particularly good for him. And the Rust Belt has continued to trend to the Republicans since back in 2016 with Trump. He managed to get that done, and it has proceeded and sped up. I also see Pennsylvania going to the Republicans by a lean margin. I also see the state of Nevada going to the Republicans by a lean margin. Nevada will significantly lean up. Um, that state in particular has a very, very unpopular approval of Joe Biden. I think that's largely due to the his handling of the economy, and how he has, with what you see with the rising inflation, uh, the gas prices, the supply chain issue, whether or not that's directly related to him, all of the blame really does end up on his table. That's what happens with every president, and the Nevadans seem to be very upset with that, simply because they have a state that runs that a very strong portion of that is focused on the economy. When you look at Las Vegas, when you look at Carson City, so I do think that state could definitely narrow up even more and go to the Republicans by a lean margin. Um, let's see. I also see the state of Georgia going to the Republicans by a lean margin. Raphael Warnock, I think, could be beat by Herschel Walker. We haven't really seen many polls, but we have seen a few with Walker up, and that was even before the really Joe Biden's approval tanked, and it's going to be interesting to see what the polls look like even now. We've seen some 538 polls, but I didn't really have much credit on them. I really focus more on the RCP polls. I think that they're more accurate. We had a 538 poll back in 2020 from Wisconsin that had Joe Biden up 17 points in Wisconsin, which was insane and completely untrue. He ended up winning by 0.5%. I don't even know how you could get to such a margin in the polling, unless you literally just did the poll in like Kenosha or something. I don't know. I guess a Democratic city in Wisconsin, so that was very strange. So I do say I put more credit in RCP with those polls. Let's get to tilt Democrat states. There's not going to be any tilt Democrat states. So the final states will be New Hampshire and Arizona, and they will both tilt to the Republicans. Mark Kelly will lose his Senate race, although he is more unpopular than Kyrsten Sinema. I think if Brnovich is the nominee, or if Masters is the nominee, both will win or defeat Blake Masters, or not defeat Blake Masters, defeat Mark Kelly. So I think that will tilt. And we're going to have to see more polls coming out of there. And I'm going to have to focus more on the RCP polls. But I do think that Arizona, it shifted continually to the left, but you could see a bit of a bounce back to the right in this red wave year. New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan barely won against, I believe it was the previous incumbent New Hampshire senator. I think the Republicans can take back that race in 2022. So major victories for the Republicans in 2022 at the moment. This gives them a 54 seat, I guess, an 8-seat majority in the Senate, or a 4-seat, depending on how you look at it. But this is a massive pickup of seats. This is a 4-seat pickup of the Republicans and an 8-seat Senate majority. And this is not even the best case scenario in the Senate for the Republicans. This is my prediction. So Democrats are in a very, very bad place at the moment. This is the prediction, obviously, at the moment, as of 2020, or not 2020, December of 2021. I will come out with another Senate election prediction in January of 2021, or 2022, I guess. And things could change. But at the moment, Democrats very, very unpopular across the country. Congressionally, direction of country polls at all-time lows. Biden approval at all-time lows. Harris approval at all-time lows. And Biden's cabinet is even worse. Pete Buttigieg is the highest approval of any cabinet member, and it's a 38% approval. Tony Blinken, low 30s. And Alejandro Mayorkas, some of the worst approvals you'll see in the mid-20s. So, I mean, it's looking very, very bad for the Democrats, and they're going to need to turn things around. But this is the map at the moment. Please let me know below what you think of my state calls and what you would change or keep the same. And if you like this content, also, please make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and stay tuned for more awesome videos. Thank you guys once more so much for watching. Have a great day.